How did you spend time with God this week? Hi friend, I'm Wendy Custer. Welcome to my channel where I share encouragement for your hearts and tips for encouraging others. I'm so honored that you're joining me in this challenge of cultivating faithfulness, making 2026 a year of growth, using this journal to change the way we set goals and measure our growth 1 week at a time. If you're just joining us, I would suggest you check out this video first and jump right in. The journal is available to order on Amazon and my website. I'll put the links to those in the description below. I'm also delighted to share that I have the digital version of the journal available on my website, so you could print that out and get started right away. And of course, you can just jot the prompts down in your own notebook as well. If you have ordered the journal and you haven't written in it yet, this is your friendly encouragement. It doesn't have to be perfect or even complete. Just begin. We've been looking at the prompts in the section, Our Relationship with God, and so far we've asked ourselves where we see God at work, what He's been teaching us through His Word, and how He's used other resources to speak to us. Today, we're going to ask ourselves, how did I spend time with God last week? Friends, this is one more way to examine our faithfulness and our relationship with God. So be honest with yourself. Did I spend time with God last week? If I'm looking to grow in any relationship I have, the best question to ask is, how am I spending time with that person? And time spent with God is similar. Friends, none of these prompts are designed to make us feel guilty. Instead, they're designed to help you examine your heart and your mind, your rhythms and patterns, and to take an honest assessment of where you are so that you can move toward a more faithful life. They're designed to help you grow. If my honest answer is that I didn't spend time with God last week, that answer should challenge me to want to spend time with Him next week and to be intentional about how to make that happen. If my answer is yes, I did spend time with God last week, I can reflect on the ways that I spent that time, which encourages me to do so more and more. Let's talk about the ways that we spend time with the Lord. Number one, reading His Word. Several weeks ago, we chatted about reading the Bible in this video. But just as a reminder, there are many ways to immerse yourself in Scripture. The reason to do so is to get to know God and to allow Him to transform your heart and mind with His truth. There's simply no way around it. Reading the Bible is absolutely imperative to growing in my relationship with God. Reading and studying Scripture is only part of growing in my relationship with the Lord. I could read about my husband and even come to love who he is through gaining knowledge about him. But that wouldn't create a relationship on its own. Relationship is a two-way street. I need to spend time talking to God and listening to Him. Number two, prayer, pouring my heart out to God, telling Him how much I love Him and how amazing He is, thanking Him for His grace and mercy and the blessings in my life, asking Him to intervene in the difficult places and to give me strength, asking Him to help others in my life, admitting my faults and my weaknesses and the ways I've messed up, and giving it all over to Him. That is prayer, simply talking to God. Prayer can be out loud. I love to do this while I'm alone in the car. It can be silent. I'm so glad He can hear my thoughts. It can be written. Prayer journaling is amazing. Any way you communicate with God is prayer. Scripture tells us to pray without ceasing. And I find that as my relationship with the Lord deepens, I'm talking to Him all day in the midst of everything I'm doing. Jesus gives us the example of finding a quiet place and having deep conversations with His Father. And the Psalms gives us examples of powerful and emotional words to express how we're feeling. Don't be afraid to use these as scripts to start your conversations with Him. Praying Scripture is powerful and effective. Number three, worship. We may only think of worship as singing or maybe a service that we attend at church. And while those are both ways we can worship the Lord, the definitions and options are endless. Dictionaries, including the Bible Dictionary and Merriam-Webster, define worship as honoring or showing reverence. And that's helpful. But how do we show honor and reverence to God? Singing, bowing, speaking words of praise and thanksgiving, obedience, service, and using the gifts God gave us can all be acts of worship. I can worship God at home, in my car, out in nature, in a sanctuary full of others who are worshiping. And I can also worship God as I paint, write, care for my grandchildren, and show hospitality to my guests. Worship is a heart attitude toward God, recognizing and acknowledging His greatness and His love towards us, and responding to that love. Number 4. Service. We may not think of serving others as spending time with God, but when we use the gifts that He has given us and we serve others out of those gifts, God is working in us and through us. When we participate in God's work, coming alongside Him to serve and love others, friend, that is spending time with God. Reading His Word, prayer, worship, and service. These are all spending time with God. And we can grow in our relationship with Him when we intentionally strengthen each of these ways. Relationships take work. Surely you know that. If you have a spouse or a child or a friend, they require intentionality and presence. And our relationship with God is no different. Friend, how are you spending time with God? Be honest. Be real. No matter your answer today, we can grow in our relationship with the Lord when we become honest and intentional. I'm so grateful for you and your desire to grow right alongside the rest of us. Next week, we'll wrap up the section, My Relationship with God, as we focus on changes we want to make personally in our relationship with Him and the action steps that will help us to move toward that change. I hope you'll join me as we continue to cultivate faithfulness and grow in 2026. Until then, friends, encourage one another daily.